All right, welcome. Today we're diving into a story that's all about what it takes to chase a dream, even when everything seems to be against you. We're going to follow the journey of a singer named Maya and her climb to the top. Man, it's a real lesson in passion and just pure perseverance. So let's jump right in. So, funny enough, we're going to start this whole story at the end. I know, a bit weird, right? But this one line just says it all. She climbed her mountain. She stood at the summit. She made it. But the victory is one thing. The climb is where the real story is. So how did she get there? Let's rewind and go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, so our first chapter is A Dream in the Dark. You know how every big journey starts with that first little spark? Well, for Maya, that spark was almost immediately in danger of being snuffed out. This part of the story is all about that classic conflict, right? The dream she had deep in her heart versus the world telling her to be realistic. So picture this. Maya's growing up in a small town, and since she was a little kid, she had this one huge, all-consuming dream, to sing on a grand stage. But here's the thing. She grew up in a place where a dream like that, it's not seen as a career path. It's a nice hobby, something you do on the weekends, but not something you build a life on. And this right here, this just lays out the battle she was facing so perfectly. On one side, you have her family's plan. What's the plan? Something safe, something stable, like accounting. They called it reality. And on the other side, that's Maya's dream. The stage, singing, pure passion. I mean, talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place. That was the choice right in front of her. So what does she do? Well, she basically starts living a double life. By day, she's trying to make her family happy, hitting the books, studying for business school. But at night, her bedroom became her real classroom, her stage, and her mirror, that was her audience. And this wasn't just, daydreaming with a hairbrush. This was real practice, putting in the work when literally no one was watching. All right, on to part 2, the first small steps. Because you can't keep a dream locked in a bedroom forever, right? Sooner or later, you've got to take it out into the real world. This next part is all about how she made that terrifying leap from her private passion to a public stage. So while she's still enrolled in business school, she starts sneaking off to these little open mic nights. Can you just imagine how nerve-wracking that must have been, stepping onto a real stage for the very first time? I mean, wow. But the story is super clear on this point. With every single performance, no matter how small, she got a little bit stronger. Her voice got better and her confidence started to build. And this is such a key point for anyone trying to do, anything hard. It's the small victories that keep you in the game. For Maya, every single round of applause, every small compliment from a stranger, that was like throwing another log on the fire. It was the fuel that kept her dream alive, especially when she was trying to balance these two completely different worlds. Okay, section 3, The Grind Before the Glow. I love that title. Because now we're getting to the real turning point in the story. This is where a tiny little spark suddenly sets off this period of intense, totally unglamorous, hard work. The kind of effort that happens way, way before anyone sees any success. You've got something real. That's it. 5 words, spoken by some music producer who happened to catch her show in some random dingy bar. And those 5 words, they changed everything. Think about it. This was the first time someone in the business told her she wasn't crazy. It wasn't a record deal, it wasn't a big promise, it was just an acknowledgement. A little sign that this dream of hers wasn't just a fantasy, it was real. Getting that little bit of validation, it kicked off a solid year of just pure grind. I mean, this is the part of the story nobody ever sees, right? The thousands of hours of just thankless work that separates having a dream from making it a reality. It was this relentless cycle, recording demos, getting rejected over and over again, working 2 jobs just to pay the bills and fund the music. And then finally, after all of that, a small label decided to take a chance on her. And get this, her big break didn't come from some massive manufactured pop hit, nope. It came from a pretty modest, really heartfelt single. And because it was so authentic, because it was her, it just resonated with people. It connected. And that connection was what finally opened the door she'd been knocking on for so long, an invitation to play at a major music festival. Which brings us to our final act, reaching the summit. So, after all the secret practice sessions, the shaky open mic nights, the rejections, the grind, this is it. This is the moment Maya finally arrives at the one place she had always dreamed of being. Just try to put yourself in her shoes for a second. As she walks out on that stage, the lights are just dazzling, the crowd is buzzing with energy, and she just pauses, takes a breath. This was it. I mean, that's the moment, isn't it? The culmination of years of work. Walking out there wasn't just about singing a few songs. It was the physical proof that her dream was real. She had made it to the summit. So what was the secret sauce? How did she actually do it? Well, if you boil it all down, her success comes down to this really simple but incredibly powerful three-part recipe. First, you've got grit, just that raw toughness to keep going when everyone tells you no. Second, sacrifice, being willing to work 2 jobs to give up the easy path. And third, and this might be the most important, unwavering belief, that core confidence in herself that started in her bedroom mirror and carried her all the way to that festival stage. And this might be my favorite part of the whole story. As she's up there singing, it says she wasn't just singing for the thousands of people in front of her. She was singing for that little girl who never gave up. It was a tribute to her younger self, the girl in the bedroom, the nervous woman at the open mic. The whole performance was a victory for the person she had been all along, the one who just refused to quit. When you really look at it, Maya's story is more than just a story. It's kind of a blueprint. It's about passion, yeah, but it's also about perseverance and about taking all those small, consistent, unglamorous steps that eventually get you to the top. And it leaves us with a pretty big question, one that's worth thinking about in our own lives. What mountain are you climbing?